welcome to another Fight of the Night review. Yeah, I had a feeling there was going to be one, and you know, weirdly, a lot of the fights from last night's card went the distance. In fact, only one was a finish. However, that's not the fight we're going to be talking about because that was not the fight of the night. It was the opener for the main card between Davey Grant and Adrian Yanez, and as always I'm going to try and break it down round by round as best as I can. I don't always succeed at that, so yeah, let's go. And while I remember I apologise for the intro for my last Let's Play stream being botched, I didn't realise until I was watching it back that you can only hear half of my intro for that one, so when I do post that up and edit it on YouTube, well, edit it and then post it up on YouTube, you'll know why it's so awkward, because I didn't think that was going to happen. So we start with the first round, as always, and immediately Davey goes for a spinning back kick. Why the hell not? You know, just goes high with it, and it is mostly sort of a picking apart, sort of long-range brawl between the two. Davey is slightly taller and he's got more of a reach on him, and he's going for some really good leg kicks, and in the round, actually, he does stumble Adrian with a couple of them. Even though it doesn't really go super well for Davey, he eats a bad shot and lands and rolls on his back. I think that was more of a trip than anything else. He's still going forward with some really good shots, and he's landing a good couple, but he's focusing too much on the spinny stuff, whereas Adrian is using his incredible boxing to keep Davey at a fair distance. He's landing a lot of shots to him. Davey is landing some good stuff to the body. He's landing some really good overhand stuff. Not landing... well, he's throwing some good overhand stuff that looks like it could end the fight, but it's not landing fully, and most of it lands on Adrian's shoulder because Adrian's head movement and shoulder movement is just really, really good. And he starts clipping Davey near the end of the first round and starts putting some damage on him. He even opens a cut on Davey's nose with a jab at some point, which is something that Davey has to deal with throughout the rest of the fight. And while Davey does start getting his leg kicks checked, he doesn't really check any of Adrian's leg kicks, and Adrian is using them to set things up a bit better in round one. And it is a fairly close round, and I think David's main mistake in round one was going for too much spinny stuff. He did do a unique thing where he sort of faked a spinning back fist and then just spun around with a normal punch. So it was just a spinning fist, not a back fist. But I give round one to Adrian. He was able to keep his cool a bit more, even though he was sort of backing off a little bit at times. He was able to clip Davey with some really good stuff. He got the better shot exchanges in round one, so yeah, and also his combos and his strikes just landed a bit cleaner than David's did, and he took a lot of advantage on Davey's openings, of which there were many. Then get to round two, and it's sort of a similar thing to round one. Davey is starting with some really good leg kicks, but Adrian is starting to catch them a bit more, and he's countering them, and he's landing some really good shots up top, and he's countering going to the body as well, which is something he did in round one, but I forgot to bring up. And he's starting to land some really good stuff on Davey. Davey is going for less spinny stuff. He does go for another spinning back kick. In fact, he goes for one, at least one in all three rounds. It was really strange, but none of them landed. But Davey was starting to get his own back a bit more. He was baiting Adrian a little bit more, which is weird because Adrian is usually the one who's sort of hanging back and trying to draw them in and then punching the crap out of him because his boxing really good. But Davey did start pressing the action a little bit more. He started pushing against Adrian and landed some really good shots. He was going to the body a little bit more. He was coming off the overhand right with some really good kicks to the body, front kicks to the body especially. He does land a good couple of leg kicks, but Adrian is again catching them, and he even catches a body kick at some point. I think it's in round 3 or round 2. It's in one of the latter two rounds. But there's also a point where the significant strike count comes up for round 2. This is just the strikes that landed in round 2, not the entire fight by this point. And Davey is one less than Adrian, but I give round 2 personally to Davey. He was landing a bit more, and there's a hell of a combo he landed near the end of round 2 as well, where he landed a flying knee and then just blasted Adrian with a series of overhand looping hooks. And he even caught Adrian with some really good shots too. So yeah, it was a very close round, and Adrian technically won, but Davey definitely meant to pull away with round 2, I think. There was also a point where he did accidentally poke Adrian's eye, and they did have to stop fight for a minute and a bit. I did forget to mention that after the eye poke thing, Davey did go for a takedown, and which is weird because he's the British fighter and we don't really have a lot of wrestling scores, actual grappling wrestling over here, so the fact he went for that is pretty cool, and it's really the only takedown attempt from either person. So I thought I'd bring that up really quick before we go to round 3. Here we are finally at round 3, our last destination. So yeah, the action does slow down a little bit here, but they're still going for some stuff. Davey is still trying to land some things, and he's sort of like not following the thing he did in round 2 where he threw less spinny stuff. He's going for a bit more of it in round 3. And he's trying to keep it controlled, but like he's just going for desperation. He is landing some good stuff though. He one of the first things he does is he goes for like a sort of leaping body kick, a leaping front body kick, but Adrian catches it and is able to turn it around into a good shot. And he's not landing as heavy as Adrian, but for the most part, much like Davey's defense was really good in round 2, Adrian's defense is fantastic in round 3 as it was in round 1 as well. He's just moving with his head movement is so good, and he's avoiding so many overhand rights. He gets caught with like one, I think, in round 3, and it's not enough to put him away because Adrian, he was caught with some like shorter combos from Davey, which he was landing. Like there was a good like right hand, left hand, and then head kick, right kick combo, right head kick combo, excuse me, and yeah, Adrian managed to eat that and just keep pressing forward, and he was like outlanding Davey. He was outmaneuvering him quite a bit, and I don't really have a lot else to say about round 3 besides that. It was just mostly the same, but it was pretty exciting while it was here, and Adrian definitely managed to pull away a little bit more in round 3. He was pulling away with it, especially near the end of the round, near the end of the entire fight. My hair is such a mess, always a mess, and yeah, he's landing some really good shots on Davey. He's clipping him quite a bit, and almost said Andy. Davey is landing some good stuff. He's not landing as much as he could be, and he is again going for way too much spinning stuff. He even goes for a spinning back kick again, and yeah, Adrian is just outlanding him, and he does manage to get to the end of the fight, which we'll talk about now. So the fight ends after a poorly explained round 3 from me, and Adrian wins by split decision. I got no complaints with that. I think he won round 1 soundly. I think he won round 3 quite soundly. You could make the argument that Davey did win round 2. I mean, I do stick with the fact that Davey did. Well, I say it's a fact. It's not really a fact because, like, the significant strike count, which is still one of the most bullshit things. But having said that, I really liked the fight. These are two fighters I really enjoy. And Davey is 0-2 this year, but both of his performances had fight the night, so can't really complain too much about that. And Adrian, like, extends his winning streak. He's undefeated in the UFC. This is his first UFC fight where he hasn't finished the opponent. Because Davey, like, he's a tough dude. That's one of the things I've always liked about Davey. He's always been a tough son of a gun. And Adrian, yeah, his striking is really good. He's got really good movement, really good defense, and he just needs to keep putting it together. He could be a champ one day. Will this fight be in my top 10? I don't think it will. I liked it, but one of the things that really hurt it again was that lack of like a proper crowd. I really want like full, like capacity filling crowds in the UFC Apex Center because, yeah, I get it, it's not the biggest venue, but it would be nice to hear some more voices, some more people like yelling for a particular fighter. I miss that so much, and this was the first fight at the main card. They could have gotten more people in by this point, you know? But that'll about do it for this Fight of the Night review. I heavily enjoyed it, as was next from me. Well, I've got to get to work on the next episode of Backtracking, which is My Bloody Valentine, and tomorrow might be another episode of Music of the Week, and then the day after that will be another edition of PBW vs AVW. I just need to get an actual card sorted for that. So, yeah, that'll be for then. Basically, I'll see you tomorrow, and as always, thank you for watching, you're awesome. Bye-bye.